Oh my goodness. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, I have a few questions
Hold
for
on.
you.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Can you
How
see?
old are you?
I'm 25.
All right. The subject is modern women are breaking. Do
hmm
you have, or do you just have a question?
Okay, I have both. I'm gonna touch on both. I just came in
Okay.
to watch your session.
Okay.
Um, so my question to you: Do
You
you
have to.
ever?
You have to hold the phone steady, though. You can't. You don't notice. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Um, so do you ever have, and do you ever agree with, some of the things that people are saying? Do you understand, like, um, what some of these women are saying? Because you never agree. I'm not against you. I understand both perspectives, but why don't you ever agree? Like some people may say, oh, they feel this way, which is their perspective. Like the young lady just said, her mother was married, um, but she did have kids, you know, prior to marriage. What was like? Why did you interrupt her with saying that?
What did I say?
You you said something like you got your point. You made your point.
What was my point?
Your point was she wasn't married while she had
Was
kids.
that true?
It was true,
Did she
but
agree with? No, no, no. I'll listen to you. Did she agree with me?
she did.
Thank you.
She did.
Thank you. And
You think
the objection she had, she was wrong about. So when she listened and heard me again, she's like, you know what? You're right. Why don't you ladies just accept the fact that I'm right more often than I'm wrong?
you think that you're right more than you're wrong, Kevin.
Okay, and that's your opinion, but you haven't said one thing specifically. Why don't you agree with women? Because what you guys do doesn't work.
Okay.
But I'm willing to hear the argument. What should I agree with?
You should agree more so of what our mindset is, what we think about, because we won't get these ideas if it's not being presented to us. And as you always say, the way that women carry themselves, this is the
Stop. I should agree with an erroneous mindset because you got it from somebody who was wrong.
everybody's wrong to you.
Let's judge based on the results.
As
No,
I've
no, no. We judge on results, not feelings over here. If we judge on results and we keep numbers based in marriages,
Are you married, Kevin?
and this is what we begin to do: shame, insults, guilt, the need to be right. When they can't be right, then they decide to go around. Man, why don't you just admit you don't know what the hell you're talking about?
I
You
listen.
don't know what you're talking about, man. You don't know what you're talking about. And I just sat here and listened to you ramble on about why don't you just let us have our feelings and our opinion? You're free to have your opinion. They're like assholes. Everybody's got one. The difference is most of modern women's opinions aren't getting the women the outcomes they say they want. Why do you want me to agree with what's not working? Because it makes you feel better?
maybe it's not.
Whew.
Maybe it's not working for you. You
No, it's not working based upon the outcomes they say they want.
What do you want?
Again, here goes the sign language. When they cannot answer the question, they answer a question with a question or redirect. You guys, how many times do you see this? This is the need to be right with the modern woman, in particular black woman. They will not admit wrong. Instead, they'll try to redirect. And this is what we do. This is what we do. We sit here and deconstruct you listening to you.
Don't you supposed to listen to me?
Yeah, to prove
Aren't
how
I
wrong you
listening?
are.
Aren't
No,
I
I'm
listening?
not supposed. No, no, no. I'm not supposed to listen to somebody who doesn't know how to get what they want. No. And
It's
you're how old
what
again?
you want. It's
How old are
it's.
you again? How old are you again?
I'm 25.
Why should a 52-year-old man listen to a 25-year-old woman?
I know you have more knowledge than I do.
Hmm.
This is
Then
why
why
I
don't you
I
just
listen.
then why don't you just accept the fact that you grew up in a world that didn't require black women to listen to black men at any level?
So how
So
can you
you
do that?
uh,
By
start
listening.
doing what we tell you to do, because what
Okay.
you do doesn't work. We're the only group of people to where we even have women half our age trying to tell us we're wrong based upon your feelings.
Okay. So should women have feelings? You know?
Yes, you should have feelings.
Okay.
But was the world built? Is the world built on human beings' feelings?
It's not.
Look at the black community. For my entire life, black women have been in charge. Are we better off today or were we better off in 1950?
What do you think?
No, no, no. Again, shame, insults, guilt, they need to be right. When they can't answer, they redirect with a question or deflect. You always know they know they're wrong when they do that.
You just asked the question though. From my
And
perspective, I don't feel
you
feelings.
answer the question with the question. So again, disingenuous at best. Guys, anytime a woman does that, they're admitting they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yes, I do. I want to
So
know
are we
what
better
more.
off today? Or are we better off in 1950?
We were better off back then.
Right. And you know, back then is when you still had black men in the household and 80% marital rate. Now we got 80% of the children being born out of wedlock and 1 out of 4 black women being married. The black community is a gynocracy run by women, a matriarchy. Women run societies fail.
Okay, so is it the women's fault that we're not being married, or is it the men?
Yes, yes.
I don't agree with that.
Okay. Men get to choose. Men get to choose. Women choose who has sex and who gets born.
Mhm.
Men get to choose who gets married. Men aren't choosing you. Why? Because you're not what they want. So it's your fault. If you got a market, if you have a market and you're serving your products to the market in a restaurant, and you serving pizza, and the market says, "Oh, they're not buying your pizza." What you're saying is to go cuss the market out and tell the market, "This is good pizza, take it." Or do you have to go back and say, the market eats pizza. They're not buying our pizza. Maybe we need to change how we make the pizza.
Absolutely.
Okay, then you're the pizza. Fix it.
Change.
Who else is buying you? Brad, Lee, Ahmed, Keith, and Brad, Lee, Ahmed, and Enrique ain't buying you. White men ain't running to the black community to marry you. Neither Chinese, Asian men, Middle Eastern men, or Hispanic men. Ain't nobody running to buy pizza.
Okay, Kevin.
It's logic, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.
So now here's my question for you.
Hmm.
If black women began to give black men what they want, do you think black men would marry black women?
Yeah, but do we get what we want?
Notice,
Do we
there
have
you go. And
what
guys, understand when you answer a question with the question and isn't
we keep
disingenuous.
saying
And
that?
anytime, because I'm going past you, and anytime somebody says something and says but, they just basically erased everything they want. Remember the whataboutism? It's always whataboutism with our women. If you gave black men what they want, would they marry you? Yes. But are we getting what we want? It's whataboutism. Well, guess so if you're not gonna give us what we want, you gonna give a white man what he want? Asian man, Hispanic man, Middle Eastern man? What man are you marrying if you
It
ain't
has to
marrying
be
us?
equal. It has to be equal in a
You don't
relationship.
have, no, it doesn't have to be equal. That's where you're wrong. It doesn't have to be equal because if you don't marry us, you ain't marrying nobody. You get nothing.
I'm seeing a lot
Dog
of
death.
couples nowadays. I
Dog.
see a lot
Yeah.
of interracial couples.
Okay. Right. Not in a majority. You're never going to see more than 50% of that. See, and this is the thing. They would rather bank on the fact of trying to give a non-black man what he wants than straightening up and giving black men what they know they want. That's how far gone women like you are. You can see the reality, but you'd rather bank on the fact that, well, I could get a white man. Okay. Then we should start seeing, when do we start to see all these interracial marriages? Over 50% for black women? By what year?
We'll never see that.
Hmm. So if you don't get if you don't get black men in mass, what do you get?
You won't get anything.
So the choice is
I
real
think it's
simple.
best. I think it's best to date, not just to have a relationship. You don't have to put a title on everything, Kevin. That's what you need to start telling these people. A title, you don't
No,
have to put a title
what I need to do is I need to direct people to this video and show you what's wrong with the black community. You don't need to put a title on nothing. It needs to just
That's
be
your
free
opinion.
flowing. Yeah, yep. And over here, stuff works. Where you at, it don't. You don't need to put a title on everything. You can have babies out of wedlock. You don't need to be married. You can do what you want to. We're the only community that operates like that, and we're at the bottom. And it's because too many women like you are in control of our community. That's why we got to take power back from these mindsets. Because all it leads to is destruction and chaos. You can't build anything if you don't claim something. Have you ever opened up something that you had to build, man? Have you ever opened up something you had to build and it came with instructions
Of course.
and it came with parts?
Of course.
The way you're talking is you just start doing shit. You don't need the instructions. You don't need that. Just start putting shit together. Uh-huh. How firm a foundation is that? You want to live on the 5th floor of a building like that? What about the 85th floor?
You got me sweating, Kevin. I'm gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go.
Yeah, you do. Go to the gym.
To my no.
Go to the gym. You cannot make this shit up. Looking like Satchmo. Dizzy Gillespie up in this motherfucker. Oh, go to hell. Oh, you're horrible. Again, another 25-year-old. You have to listen to these women and just validate their feelings and tell them what they want to hear. Because I won't. Because I'm going to stand exactly in what I know. You don't know what the hell y'all talking about. And just because you can say it confidently, you just means you're a confident fool. And you've had women get on Instagram and YouTube talking about how they were. Are you ready now?
Yes. Sorry.
Your camera's too low.
Too low. I mean, too high.
Yeah. There you go. Hello.
Hi.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. What do you got for me?
So I kind of just jumped in. What's the topic? It says modern women.
Are modern women breaking? But do you have a question? Because since you just jumped in, and I'm not going to repeat the entire monologue. We're talking about how women are breaking in the workforce. But at 21, what made you watch my program?
Well, I actually started watching a program about a year ago because my brother introduced me to the channel, and I learned so much since I've been watching it. I've actually shown it to my mom as well. I can't believe I'm on here right now.
You say your mom?
Yeah, I introduced my mom as well.
Is your mom married?
She's not.
What does she think about it?
She thinks sometimes your demeanor is to the women. I say I don't think so.
Of course not.
So we have disagreements about that sometimes, but yeah, she was married to my dad.
So what do you want? Do you want to be married one day?
I do.
Is your dad helping you with that?
So my dad lives in California. I'm currently in North Carolina in school. But I do locating when I get there. He tells me kind of just to stay put until he can really like be there for me in person. So I try to, keep him up to date and when I have questions and I don't know, when a guy approaches me, but I still really care about his input. So I'm trying to just,
Well, what are you going to school for?
I'm in school for fashion design.
Well, obviously, I'm gonna tell you what your dad would tell you.
Right.
No diseases, no kids.
Yeah, I don't have any children.
And right now, you know, I contrary to popular belief, I do think women should be educated. However, I think that understanding that men are a requirement, they're not optional. That's really what I've been talking about today. Is so many women are breaking. A pandemic has amplified employee burnout, but it's especially bad amongst women. 42% of women said they are often burned out this year because women are working too much. And it's because most women are single, and especially in our community, and trying to do the job of being this, that, such and so forth. So, yeah, keep watching the program and find out what it is that you can help. Find out the kind of man and lifestyle that you want to have, and then ask yourself, what kind of man, what is the kind of man that I want from a woman, and what am I willing to do to make that happen? That's really what it comes down to. It's always going to be a deal.
I can say for myself, before I was introduced to your channel, I did kind of look at the whole, okay, I want my career first. I want all these things. Yeah, I was one of those women because that's how I was raised by my mom.
That's the message. Mm-hmm.
A man. But then when I looked at it full scale, I was like, wait a second, hold on. That's okay that I'm working on this right now, but if that's something I really want, I have to start working on me now, working on these things now as an actual goal. And when I talk to friends about it, like I've lost friends just because they're bringing it up. And I'm just like, we should be able to talk about this. And it's become to a point where I'm at a wall because it's like, where do I have the women that I can just talk about this freely, comfortably in agreement? And it's hard.
Unfortunately, it probably would be outside of college and in the work world, because if you go into school for fashion.
Yes, I'm in school and I'm also a master's student, which I know I'm PhD.
But here's the thing: what you'll notice is when you go into the work world, you're going to see a divergence between the ages of 22 and 27. You're going to see many of the women, non-Black women, getting married. And between 22 and 27, you'll see Black women going to Jamaica, hot girl summer, whatever. And then by the time these married women are reaching 28, 29, 30, they've already got one or two kids, many possibly leaving the work world, starting to work at home part-time. And then around 28 to 30, a lot of Black women finally start to say, you know what, now I'm ready to do what Becky and Marisol were doing 5 or 6 years ago, but the chance is gone.
Right. And I'm actually, I see them getting married every day. You know, when I go to work, they're the same age as me. And I have women saying, oh, like, are you married? I'm like, no. And I used to, like, oh, no, I'm so young. But now I'm like,
no. Well, that's why I noticed it when I was in corporate America in my 20s. I noticed that white women, they were white in my office. White women were going to their friends. They were like, they were complaining because I got this, I got a wedding. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Because all these white women were going to their friends' weddings and they were complaining about all the bridesmaids' dresses and trips and being broke. But then he said, well, but I'll get it all back when I get married. So I was like, I never heard that, because I listened to Black women and ain't nobody get married. And the one or two that are getting married, they were worried about going to the bachelorette party versus doing that. So bottom line is our community is in a crossroads. We don't know how to do healthy relationship. We were raised in an adversarial kind of thing. So the women you're talking to, they can't be honest. They do want a man. They just don't want to sound weak or pick me. But you stay focused on what you guys stay focused on, because they'll catch up to you in 5 or 7 years. And by that time, you already be married, down the path that you killed your husband, and on the path to living a different life. So keep doing you, young lady. Bye-bye. Yeah, so we told you guys, we do have young sisters out here who are trying to do something different. And, it's good that they, are hearing all this back and forth conversation, because everybody has to make up their own mind what works for them. Everybody has to make up their mind about what works for them. All right. So it's almost midnight. I'll bring in one more person. Contrary to popular opinion, I want to see the best outcome for Black men, for men in general, Black men in particular. And as it stands, Black men still want to get with Black women. But Black women, please make no mistake, you're going to have to give Black men what they want, because Becky with the BBL is a real thing. They are coming.
And guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. More respect on Kevin Samuels being the legend. I think this guy was great with his content, his method of doing things throughout his conversation, and how he asks these women some questions and forces them to answer it the way he want them answer it. So I think he was in different level with his conversations, and it was just top notch. Let's give the man the flowers that he deserved. I mean, he was that good. He was that good, to be honest. Now, talking about these two ladies we've just witnessed in these two segments, right? I mean, two different type of women. The last one is 21-year-old that has watched his videos, and she has critical thinking skills, and she's more rational, more logical sound, I would say, because at age 21 and someone introduced you to something, and remember she said she has been watching his content for the past year before, I mean, joining the conversation. So one would say that's an intellectual way of doing things. Oftentimes when you see black women come in talking about, do you have problem with black women and this kind of stuff, it's just for the simple fact that most of them, when they watch these clips, little clips, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever the case is, these type of clips that he kind of be direct to these women, they just make their judgment based off that. No, when you see something like that, you've seen that the person is called Kevin Samuels. Why don't you go to do research about the person, especially with what he does and what he has said in the video should get you intriguing and want to hear more from him. Watch full segments, watch live broadcasts from starting to ending, and then you'll be able to come up and have this type of conversation. Remember, and just bear in mind that I can say this lady is the product of Kevin Samuels. The last lady I'm talking about, the 21-year-old, is a product of Kevin Samuels' show, because she said the way she used to think. And now we've all heard this lady speak, and it's kind of like, so, will I say it's refreshing to hear something like that? I mean, knowing that a 21-year-old black woman actually have this type of mindset. So with the credit that I've always been giving to him, I just think that this guy really deserves the credit that someone like me has always been giving him in my videos. I mean, he was just something else, and he has transformed. Just look at this lady talking. She is the typical result or the typical product of his show. This lady is just the end product. These are the kind of women that Kevin Samuels wants us to be seeing in the black community, and that's why he did the show. And oftentimes these type of videos, you don't see those who hate him really post these type of video. They will not do it, right? I mean, if they wouldn't just do it, not at all. There is no chance that someone that really hates Kevin Samuels will post this type of video. And when they are posting Kevin Samuels videos, other videos of, they mostly targeting only the weird section that maybe things got escalated or something like that, instead of you to post the whole full segment in context. Post the whole segment so the person will get a clear understanding of whatever that transpired before, whatever that happened in the video. But they will not do that, because they know that if they do that, then they can't have this talking point like, oh, he hates black women, he's against black women and all those things. They can't say those things because you understand there was context involved in whatever he said, or it started from somewhere. The lady started behaving in a sassy way or something like that. So big ups to this lady, and I really wish her well in her dating life. Now, talking about the last lady, the first lady that I talked about, shouldn't you be listening to me? I mean, not just the differences of age or something like that. You are a woman. You should be listening to him, not him listening to you. And that right there explains so much about the community. Talking about, why don't you agree with these women? Do they say something that is true and he happened not to agree? No, it's about you saying something that is truthful, and at the end of the day, him agreeing to it. But you don't bring up BS and expect him to. And we've all watched the content. they come up with this BS and he disagree with them, and that's not hate. It's just giving them reality check or making sure that they are not living in some kind of fantasy that is not going to get them the result that they want. So I think he's often correct than he's ever wrong, like he said in the video. That's just what I think. Guys, if you enjoyed the content, like and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.